Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Power Rangers Let There Be Thunder. As you can see, we're a little bit streamlined cast today, which is kind of funny because I did say there'd be more Power Rangers, but there will be. I'm just saying. Um,
As players wear a triangle.
We like
you are
monkeys.
actually, aren't you? And as we all know, a triangle is the strongest shape.
Not when it's made of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm holding on my end. I don't know about you two.
I'm squishy and adorable
Fine, at some point we'll become a 5-point star. It's all good.
and medicated.
Very medicated.
Or protection, yeah.
Before we jump into introductions, I am going to say one thing, just as a sort of like public service announcement. I think that's probably the most appropriate term for
Eat
anybody
vegetables.
watching. What
Housekeeping.
was that?
Is it eat your vegetables? Because 43 years and that's still not worked.
No, I like vegetables. I'll be honest, I just had a giant stew that was like 90% vegetables, but if you don't want to eat them, don't eat them.
I know some people would do it like that.
If you have a PDF copy of the Power Rangers role-playing game core rulebook, you can now download the updated printing version of said book from Renegade Game Studios website. There's not an awful lot of changes to said book. A lot of
But
things.
there are a lot of awful changes to said book.
A lot of things that were in the frequently asked questions have been updated.
Have
some
they fixed
influences.
the Pink Ranger?
No.
No, Pink is still broken. Pink is
Pink's-
intentionally broken.
Pink is broken. Pink will stay broken. Some influence of changes. Some influences changes. That's a terrible. English is not my first language. Apparently.
Words are hard, guys.
Yeah. Influences have changed. At least one origin power has changed because it also didn't work. Or it did, but it did the same thing that story points did, so it didn't really make sense. Some Zord features have been changed and have been alphabetized, which is interesting. And threats, lots of threats have been changed. So skills work. They've got the right skills for instance. Hello Panic.
Yo.
Yeah. So there's some changes. If you're playing the system, you're not going to necessarily need to change a lot. And you could just keep playing as is anyway. But just as a heads up, if you've got the book and you want to download it, it is on their website now. Yeah, that was my public service announcement. And
Bravo. Well done. Very good.
Thank
And if you haven't bought the book yet, use our link.
Yeah, that's. I will post
we're
in the chat
affiliated.
momentarily because I have the affiliate link.
Yeah.
I just can't remember what.
Renegade
the
was
thing is to
foolish
post it.
enough to affiliate with us.
And I don't know. I'm not sure if that means that we get money if you buy things. So buy things.
Yeah, if you use the link for 6 months, basically it'll put a cookie on your browser for like 6 months, and if you buy anything from the website, we'll get
10%, I think.
I think it's 10%. Yeah. You don't pay
Get
anything
good
extra,
feelings.
but we'll get 10% of anything you buy
Whatever you buy.
from
And in
Renegade's
Yeah, we get
website.
10% of it. So if you're missing like a tenth of the book, it's
We got
because
it.
we've
Just
got
random
1/10.
pages. Yeah,
Yeah.
random pages. Eventually, we'll
As a
get I
tenth
think,
one
a
is
full book.
removed and we get it posted to us.
We realized you were really excited about playing a Green Ranger, but sorry, that's the page we got.
Yeah, you can only play the first 3 pages of green.
But yeah, other than that, everything's as is normal. I'll post the links for the what's it in a second while these guys are doing introductions. In fact, if we do the introductions now, I can post the links. Michael.
Hello there.
That segue was beautiful, Matthew.
I am first, Michael, because I am first. Yes. And I'll be playing the Peters today. Our lovely White Ranger.
Multi-Peter.
Multipass.
I misheard that. And
What
it's
did you
taken me
hear,
this long to
Joe?
work out what you just said.
Yes. Well, on that note, hello, hi. I am Better Michael.
How dare you?
And I am Sarah, the Pink Ranger, ambassador from the North Pole, redeemer of teenagers. Yeah.
Cool. And hi, I am Jay, and I am not the Michael that came first or second. And I will not be playing a penis today either. Intrusive thoughts.
Inside check.
I
Oh
will be
no, is that what it
playing.
sounded like I said?
Yes.
It did really sound like you said you would be playing penis today, and I think Panic thought the same thing.
I mean,
Um,
he is a bit of a dick. Peter, not Panic.
yeah, I will be playing Q, who is currently the Gold Ranger.
I like
Currently.
how you say currently. Do you have any intentions on changing that at any point soon?
Well, I used to be the Red Ranger, you see.
He does
And
have a
I'm
fair point.
gold. And I have a ginger cat who's come to offer support. This is my Zord, aren't you?
He has figured out the miniaturization technology and he has not shared it with me.
He is
Nobody's sharing it
currently
with you.
adorably sized, and then he becomes huge when we morph.
That makes sense.
Well, gigantic, I think, technically.
Brief recap on last week's episode. Rangers had, well, the Rangers didn't have, I suppose. Sarah, well, actually, rephrase that. Sarah and a Ranger. Half the band is now a Power Ranger.
Half the band is one Power Ranger.
Yes, the half the band is a singular Power Ranger. Sarah's band had a brief concert on the planet Safe Haven, which was very well received, bolstered spirits, lightened up hearts, and proved to be a
Enabled
distraction for pickpocketing. But fortunately, the Phantom Ranger and White Power Ranger noticed said pickpocketing, put a stop to it, paid the pickpocket to go about their merry way. Peter.
I was trying to do a nice thing.
um,
Rich people.
yeah,
Turns out crime does pay,
crime does pay.
just not in the way you expected.
Sarah then went to speak to said pickpocket, who essentially was just trying to make enough money to go back and, you know, take back his world from the bad guys. Kind of sad story, really, there. But she convinced him that it's okay because the Power Rangers would help, which led to him wanting to become a Power Ranger and a whole weird night of reverse pickpocketing by returning the stolen items to their owners. And then the Rangers headed towards planet Triforia in their ship. Most of the way there, they did suffer some cataclysmic breakdowns of systems as some explosions left behind by the Green Psycho Ranger went off. Fortunately, Kelsey, who it turns out is very good at repairing things as well as blowing them up, was able to head out onto the ship's hull with Q and make some repairs. Q did save Kelsey from going space diving, which I think Sarah probably did really appreciate, because if you lose your girlfriend in space, that's really awkward, and it's going to be a really terrible conversation to have with their grandmother.
I mean, I just go after it. And it was lost in space together.
That's a completely different game.
Exactly.
Gone.
Spin off.
Literally.
Kelsey and Sarah lost in space. And at the end of the episode, the Rangers arrived at the planet Triforia. So we will be beginning today's session with the Rangers heading down to the planet. The ship will be venturing to one of the planet's sort of orbiting shipyards for some more in-depth repairs, just so that it can be fully repaired. All the weapon systems still need some TLC.
The full rundown to make sure there aren't any more bombs.
Yep. Always awkward. and just a little bit of downtime for some of the crew before, more psycho shenanigans.
They've had enough downtime. They've been building snowmen and partying on Safe Haven. If
Yeah,
they weren't frolicking in the snow, building snowmen, pretending to be Princess Elsa, and also if they weren't at a concert, they might have spotted the explosive devices strapped to the hull.
I feel like you need to let it go, man.
You can't hold it back anymore.
You know what? I'm sorry. I think Michael gets a point for that one. That was good. That was good.
The bombs never bothered me anyway.
You head down to planet Triforia via teleportation. You arrive in a large courtyard. It's like flagstones is where you land. You see statues all over the place in triplicate. So each statue has like two. I apologize because I've got a noisy dog who wants attention at the same time.
Hi, Blighty.
So each statue is of a single person, but there is three of the same person on each statue, like plinth. Marble
Nice.
seems to be marble seems to be the construction choice material of choice, and you appear to be in some sort of garden. There are flowers, hedges, trees everywhere. The trees are fruit bearing. Some of them quite similar to fruit-bearing trees on Earth. You see what looks to be apples, although they are a vibrant purple colour. And standing nearby is an old woman who, if you were to guess, judging by Earth standards, would be somewhere in her 90s. She's using a cane to prop herself up. Her hair is white,
Run.
devoid of colour. And as you arrive, she offers you a smile, but it's a bit shaky.
On the way here, could I have switched my xenolocation study to Triforia?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
sweet.
you had the better part of a week to study up on the planet.
Downloaded your Triforian setting.
Exactly. Me.
The woman before you is she is the queen in name, but she is essentially the queen mother. The king of Triforia is absent. He disappeared some years ago. He was known to be a Power Ranger and would venture out to neighbouring systems to help, and just on one mission never returned. Whether or not he's dead or missing, nobody really knows. But the fact that he hasn't returned after so many years is disconcerting to say the
Doesn't bode
least.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go into a deep curtsy, Your Majesty.
There's no need for such formalities.
The back of my head's like, just got bring going, sup, bitch? Not what he does.
Yeah, as we greet her, Peter's also in like a deep bow as she says this. Like,
Also in a deep curtsy.
I just imagining Tom Holland curtsying, and I'm here for it.
Make me either a performance or a cultures check for all three of you.
oh
And I
no.
will say performance dance will apply. Q.
Okay.
So any dance related bonuses you have will apply to this situation.
What are these two skills I have no points in?
I may edge myself.
Is it performance?
Performance and culture. I got a 10.
Was it attending cultures or performance?
I'll go with cultures.
Crit 20 performance.
Nice. I got a
Um,
29.
Sorry, just for the record, I'd like to state that Pete is morphed with my power wing attached, and Baby Dragon is morphed as well.
Pete's expecting
So-
trouble, apparently.
Pete just likes how he looks with the
Like,
power wing on, and yeah, Baby Dragon gets a glow up.
I'm not morphed.
for anybody listening at home, panic, that was Glock with a G.
Pete, you try to mimic basically what you've seen on television. Some of those Hallmark movies moments, those Christmas romances. Where
Peter is me.
Yeah, in this
Hallmark
instance,
movies
yeah,
on
you've
repeat.
seen the reporter marries the prince, the queen disappears from the castle to meet the common folk sort of thing, and you do a reasonable estimation, but it doesn't apply to what the royalty would expect on Triforia at all. It's not bad. It's not badly received. It just,
You
Isn't
look
a
like a
custom.
tip.
yeah, it's just not appropriate.
I'd like to
anybody
say as
else-
well, it was a full
Yeah. If anybody else saw you, they'd be kind of snickering behind their hands politely or making
Are they
little
embarrassed
jokes.
for me? Is
Yes,
that what
they
it
would
is?
be. Basically, yes. Little.
Look at the poor commoner. He knows no better.
Yeah. But
But all in
Sarah,
triplicate.
yeah, Sarah and Q, even though I suppose Sarah does know, having studied Triforia, and Q knows well enough to mimic Sarah's movements. You
He's
two,
already a queen, so he knows
Yeah.
what he's doing.
exactly. You two are able to mimic the local custom perfectly, and although the Queen Mother is like, no, there's no need for such formalities, she does note that you have aced the gesture, and
In my head, I'm just imagining that Sarah curtsies, Q bows, and then Pete's on the end and just kind of goes,
he kind of like does half and half. He's not quite sure what to do. He's just like, oh,
yes, Miss Patson.
yeah.
Pete's flying. Pete just goes fully horizontal for a second.
The power wing just brings him back up.
It's just Close. But yeah, her your standing with the Queen Mother goes up as a result of your fine education in the diplomatic arts, Sarah and Q.
I heard upshift. Did you?
I will say,
Yes.
yeah. When you're dealing with, until you fail a skill check, when you're dealing with any of the Triforian nobility, you will gain an upshift to your skill check. To
Upshift
any
on-
social skill check.
We don't get upshifts for punching him in the face?
No, you don't get upshifts for punching them in the face.
I think we have enough of those already.
Yeah. She sort of looks around as if expecting more of you.
We get that a lot.
3 is a good number, so doesn't really question it all that much. And
That's actually kind of ironic, isn't it?
it is. It works.
Well, the the rest of the team had other duties. We had a bit of a snafu with some sabotage on the way here.
Yes, I hear there's some psycho rangers coming to the planet, and unlike you power rangers, the psycho rangers aren't good guys.
No, they've been
Correct.
corrupted by dark forces, unfortunately.
And you're here to help the planet get ready to defend itself?
Yes.
Your Majesty, we're gonna kick their ass.
You elbow Pete in the ribs.
I mean,
Sorry.
no disrespect, but you do realise we get news from other planets. We did see the prison breakout.
They caught us off guard. There won't be a repeat of that this time.
I have a great many people's lives to protect.
This time we know they're coming, and we won't have to split so much. And we can prepare.
We promise we will keep you and your people safe.
What preparations do you suggest we make?
Have you got any sort of planetary shielding system that could help keep them at bay?
No planetary shielding, no. We have some royal guards. We have a standing military force, but nothing to fight Power Rangers or their ilk.
In defensive positions.
And I mean, your services might be best utilized for emergency services. So there's always some sort of collateral damage with these kind of fights. So
Perhaps we could try to draw their attention to a location where we can minimize such collateral damage.
Your Majesty, what would the Psycho Rangers be coming here for?
good
Your
question.
guess is as good as mine. Triforia, we give to the SPD. We donate food and forces, but we don't have anything of much value. We don't even have a Power Ranger since my son disappeared. No
Yeah,
heir for
about
the
that.
throne.
We heard there was a gold ranger on this planet.
Yes,
What happened to them?
my
He
tray.
disappeared.
Yes, he
There,
went
there was
off
there was a briefing, Peter.
he went off to
I haven't been in the
save the
best of
day.
moods lately, Sarah. May have not been paying attention.
Off to save the day and just never returned.
And he had his morpher with him.
He did, yes.
Are you sure there's only one for the planet?
One's all we've ever had, or we've ever found. Should we have had more?
I'm just trying to figure out why they're coming here.
Where was Trey's base? Did they have a central location where they operated from, or
The office, maybe? Yeah.
Just the throne room, the castle. And she just kind of gestures behind her to the ornate castle of which you are in the garden of.
Would it be all right if we went through his files and things and try to figure out what might be bringing them here?
Of course, there's not very much, I would imagine. It's been quite a few years since he left.
in the meantime, are there any safe places where your people could be evacuated to so that they are away from any central locations that might be of interest, like the palace or major religious artifacts or holy lands?
Or just outside of population centers in general?
The
Probably
Phantom
good.
Ranger did say something about an arch and sending people to safe haven.
Unnecessary
On the radio,
evacuation.
just within ourselves, I will ask, do we think it could be the arch that they're coming for?
I mean,
There are arches everywhere.
potentially, like if they might be trying to use the arch to get somewhere else. Like if
Aren't there? I mean,
they can't get into safe haven otherwise, maybe they're trying to breach safe haven.
it could be. There's got to be other arches that'll be easier to get to.
Hmm.
Coming out of radios, let's work to get people through the arch to safe haven. We'll warn safe haven. Well, we'll notify safe haven that they have incoming, which
I
shouldn't
mean,
really be a surprise. They know that we're coming
the
here.
problem there is that's a lot of people.
We do have some shelters for like natural disasters and that sort of thing, just not for enough for entire population basis. That's why I
Yeah.
was suggesting perhaps we could find somewhere that we could host this combat that would take place where there is no collateral damage.
Do you have a location in mind? And
Where, I mean, the
so
area around your arch, is it, do people live there? Is it
It's,
clear space? Or
it's just a few uh, walls over in one of the other gardens.
here on the pallet? Okay.
do you
We
have a
do
lab?
is the answer. We evacuate people where we can. We move people away where we can't. We attempt to make ourselves as big and juicy as a target as possible to keep the fight away from populated areas.
Mhm.
And we do everything within our power to stop the psychos from moving near to any of the Triforium population.
I
And
just think
might
it's
I
feasible.
suggest, Your Majesty, that you are included in the people that go to safe haven? It's best for the monarchy to be in a safe place.
Um, whilst there are still members of my planet's population on Triforia, I too shall remain.
Then in that case, have you got any sort of like tech space, a lab that
There's
maybe I could take a look at?
make me a just for you, Michael. Make me an alertness insight check.
Right. So,
Oh, critical 23. Nope, critical 22, sorry.
As you ask about the lab, you feel particularly drawn to that sort of scientific field, as if everything else is pushed to the sides. There's no danger of the Psycho Rangers. There's no worry about the Queen and whether or not she's staying. There's no. There's just nothing else to worry yourself about except for the lab. You need to get to the lab. You need to involve yourself in that scientific, technological aspect. Jay.
You will ditch the helmet or over a wall. Don't need that anymore. Um,
gone forever.
um, and look the Queen Mum square in the eyes and say, Your Majesty, regardless of the outcome of what's about to happen between your people, ourselves, and the Psycho Rangers, those of your people who survive will need leadership. They will need a light and they will need hope in the time that comes after. I implore that you and the members of your family take refuge in the safest way possible with your people so that they have someone that can rally them and keep them going, whatever the outcome. And I would like to use my 2-up shift for diplomacy and my 1-up shift for dealing with nobles. And I'd also like to spend a story point for specialization on persuasion, please.
Go for it.
That is a critical. What is it that we use to reroll a 1 if we want to?
Story point.
Story point.
Cool. I will do that, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that just let me reroll whatever was a 1, or can I reroll
It lets
everything?
you reroll
Just
a
one.
single one.
That's fine. And that is much better. That is a critical 30.
Nice.
Hey, yo.
I had this whole response in my head that she had, like this whole sort of like pat you not on the cheek because she's not tall enough to reach, but like maybe like on the chest, just like Sunny Jim sort of thing.
And she's looking up at me and Q's like I just like it's ping.
But
Being a
critical
golden
30
ranger,
is
you know,
pretty much like the highest at this point. Like it's pretty much the highest dice roll you can make, and I think it's even on the DC list, like difficulty list, the highest difficulty check. She sort of rocks back a little bit as she contemplates your words, like somebody's slapped her, metaphorically speaking. And as she does, you see the color drain out of her face because you've just removed the helmet, the gold. There's all of that familiarity, and obviously you're not her son. You don't look anything like her son. You're much too young, even. But there's that element of sort of like ghost from the past that's also swaying her mind. And with a trembling hand, she reaches up as if she's going to touch you, and then sort of brings it back to under control, puts it back on her cane atop the other one, and just slowly nods her head. You speak very wisely for one so young. Responsibility of leadership must weigh heavily upon your head, but you wear it very well on your shoulders. I hope they don't give you too much of a hard time.
we will give it everything we have, Your Majesty.
And at that point, I will butt in. My helmet will shift off, and I'll be like, brilliant. Glad we got that sorted. About that lab,
Yes, there's
really
a
need to
lab.
see a lab.
There's a lab. There is one in the castle. Very much.
And I've almost got that look of crazy in my eye.
Peter, we can get directions from the staff. Hold your horses.
And Peter's already on his way. He's just followed the general direction that he has been pointed to. His helmet's back on, and he's trying to trace energy.
The Queen looks at you for a moment just before you leave, and then looks at the two, at Q and Sarah, and just, you're all humans from Earth?
I mean,
That one we're not so sure.
yes.
Okay, I'll take you to the throne room.
Thank you.
There's yes. If you just follow me, there'll be some refreshments brought as well, and she
ahead.
guides you.
We should begin preparations for moving children, the sick, the old to safe haven at least. Everyone
Well-
else, bunkers, the forest. I don't know if you have like campgrounds or the equivalent
Yes,
here.
camping is very
But
popular on
yeah,
Triforia.
basically just outside of the city, I think.
I'll get an
And
emergency broadcast sent out.
yeah, I think the psychos will probably drop wherever we are first. Whatever they're here for, they're going to get distracted by us.
Julius! Julius! A man comes sort of wandering over. He's probably like 10
Is he
years
wearing
older
orange?
than she is. Um, Back bent with the passage of time and weight of all of his years. Uh, yes, Queen. No, Queen Mother to you, Julius. I need an emergency broadcast put out of right away, Queen. Just needs to warn everybody to head towards the castle and be ready to leave. Not everybody, but just, the young and the sickly, the old. They'll be heading to a different planet just for a little while. Right away, Queen Mother. Good man, Julius, good man. And she leads you towards the throne room
Yeah,
where
and
there is refreshments waiting.
I'll shoot off a message to Jason to expect incoming soonish.
Brackets, not Santa, soz.
Peter is obviously split off from you guys. I am roaming the castle, asking every single person that I see. So
Hey,
Queen Mum, send me to the lab. Where's
lab,
the lab?
lab.
Make me a
Dog with the squeaky toy.
persuasion diplomacy check, please.
He's gone labradoodle crazy.
Well, I'm rolling this with Snag, so don't expect much.
He has an
3.
elaborate plan.
He
I
is
rolled an
like a labradoodle.
I rolled an 18 and a 3.
You could try
So
downloading Slack.
The
I
first
could spend as personal power to ignore Snag, but
too late.
where's
You've
the
already
fun in
rolled
that?
the dice.
Where's the fun in that?
The first person you run into happens to be a guard. He's wearing like what looks to be plate armor, although upon second examination, it's not just plate. It's clearly modern armor designed to look ceremonial. And even the weapon itself is like a halberd, but you can see that the blade of the halberd is purely for decoration. It's some sort of energy projectile that is just designed to look pretty.
I would like to say I do get distracted for a brief second admiring his armor, just like, wow, this is fantastic.
You get a slap straight away across your hands. It's like, back away from the Queen's Guard!
Huh. So it seems like that's a thing everywhere. My bad. Lab?
He takes like a look over you, sees that you're wearing your Power Rangers armor, even though you have no helmet on, and he's just head down that corridor, 3 left turns, down the stairs, and it'll be the second door on your right.
Cool. So I don't get lost, I'm going to program that into my morpher so I can use it like a compass. And I'm going to sprint off like a madman.
Just for
Ooh.
anybody, who's already predicted? I'm curious. There is a current prediction on the channel. Is Pete going to jail? And I'd just like to point out it was not me. My hands are, yeah, wasn't me. I am not picking on Pete today.
Whilst I'm running through the castle, do I notice like any paintings of anything or
There's paintings everywhere. There's sculptures. There's holographic displays. A mixture of old and new technologies and artwork. Make me a
25.
alertness perception check.
15?
You see, when you head down the corridor and take that first left, you walk through a lovely corridor full of flowers, beautiful, full of scents that are otherworldly. Second left takes you down what's clearly some sort of decorative armory. Swords across the ages, halberds, armor, leading from the primitive up to the modern day. The third left takes you into a room that is paintings. The style changes over the years, and you can see that it is years, centuries. But they're all portraits, men and women. They all bear a family resemblance. There's that same sort of jawline, same brow, same nose. And as you go down, you see a background that is copied in the same picture over and over again. A pattern that you don't recognize. But as you sort of get to the more modern day, it turns into a more coin-like design until the last image is of Tray of Triforia, and it is full stop a coin in the background with a pattern that you can surmise is what he would have used to morph.
Is he fully morphed in the
No,
painting?
not morphed at all. None of them are morphed. But you can guess they were all former Gold Rangers.
Mhm.
And probably from the same family line.
Okay, so definitely has a power coin.
And I'll add to that, the painting before Trey is of the Queen Mother.
No, I'm not going to say that. Never mind, carry on. Queen Mum looked good back in the day.
And was a Gold Ranger, apparently.
Oh, that's cool too.
You head down the stairs, take that right, and you are in a lab. It's a little outdated. Everything looks to be maybe 30 years old.
Well, there are three of everything.
There isn't three of everything, but there is
Three
three
toilets.
computers, like all laid out next to each other, on a triangular desk.
Now, there was two reasons I wanted to come to a lab. Either to try and build some sort of like small force field generator to protect the castle, in case Queen Mother didn't want to leave. Or to make some sort of device that wouldn't amplify our powers, but would amplify our signal as such to try and draw the Psycho Rangers to us rather than the location like on the planet.
I would
So
say the shield generator is a no. No way in terms of time, in terms of resources. Not no. But the device to amplify your signal,
With that in mind, then, does anything immediately catch my eye as I walk in the room?
no. Most of the projects have been put away. In fact, this is probably the worst place to have gone to. It's clearly Trey's old lab, but with Trey having been gone for the better part of 25 to 30 years, nobody's used it. Anything he would have left out has been tidied up.
Cool. I'm instantly going to try and boot up one of the systems then, to try and access his files to find components and things that I need to make what I want. Because I didn't already specify it, can I spend a story point to... Oh, no, wait, I don't need him anymore. I was just about to say, can I summon Rick? But I don't need him. I have specialization in hacking myself. If needs be, I will hack into one of the computers to gain access.
Okay, bear with me one moment. I just saw Jay post in the chat a big neon flashing middle finger with the words "Hey you psychos" underneath it.
Yep.
Just beep. Go ahead and make me a skill check. I'm going to say it is going to be with a snag. Obviously, you can ignore snags with a PowerPoint if you so wish to do so.
I'd roll with edge anyway, but
Okay, so it would just be a flat roll then.
is it hacking? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. In that case, then, can I? Either way, can I have spent a story point to have Rick with me, and then I'll use him to give me edge again.
You can't use Rick to give you edge if you've got snag. You've got snag. You'd need to
Oh,
spend a
yeah,
story
yeah,
point
yeah.
to ignore snag.
PowerPoint to
Or
ignore
PowerPoint,
snag.
yeah,
Yeah,
PowerPoint to ignore
I'll
snag.
do that and ignore my snaggy.
Password is just 3.
Brain.
3 of 3s.
3, yeah.
I couldn't have rolled better if I tried.
He says that.
We little mates from school. Lobby.
I roll with the D12, my dude. I got a critical 32.
You really couldn't have rolled better if you
I
tried.
could not have rolled better if I tried.
I mean, you could.
I
if you
also
tried.
got
If you
a
really
crit
tried.
on the D8 and the D10, so I critted on 4 dice basically.
How magnanimous
In
of
the
you.
throne room of Triforia, you see a fairly large, very ornate golden throne, next to which there is a second throne, not quite as tall, almost as ornate, but it has maybe half a dozen to a dozen pillows scattered across it. The Queen Mother goes to it and sinks into it. Just, oh, I'm very sorry, but these old bones just aren't quite what they used to be.
Not a problem at all.
My knees, you know,
Of course.
and these feet, tired feet. But as I said, there are provisions. There's some wine and some foods there, some very nice cheeses from across Triforia if you wish to dine whilst you're working. But yes, this is the throne room. There's various consoles over there that he used to work at, and I've already had it unlocked for you just so that you can just work away
good.
at anything you want to use. Really, I wish the other one had said something because I could have had the lab's consoles unlocked as well. It would have made things significantly easier.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
He likes a challenge.
He is a challenge.
True.
Funny to know how my teammates talk about me behind my back.
In exactly the same way we talk about you to your face.
I mean, true.
Q will close his eyes and squeak out a fart. No, he will
You're
zen
losing that
himself out.
upshift.
And then he'll blame it on the Queen Mother. He will close his eyes and tune himself into the gold spectrum frequency and try and he would like to see what he feels, what he picks up from the room, if there's anything kind of grid-wise that's drawing him or resonating with him.
Make me an alertness check, please.
Do I get anything by virtue of the fact that it's...
I will give you edge.
Thank you. I don't think I have anything else that would add to this, so I shall throw cubes into.
I'm gonna grab some wine and head over to a console.
Critical 19. I'm all on the crits tonight.
One should not be drinking on the eve of battle.
The battle's not for like a week, you're fine.
On the eve of 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 the battle.
You're not
It's
in
a
the
glass
room,
of
be
wine,
quiet,
and
man.
she's underage, so it's fine.
Critical 19.
Critical 19.
You're drawn to the throne.
Natch.
You're drawn to the throne as if a great weight of history of Gold Rangers have sat there. You could almost sense the sheer volume of individuals who've graced it over the years. Like a crushing weight upon your shoulders for a moment. You're also drawn to... You're drawn towards a midpoint between two paintings. There doesn't appear to be anything on the wall.
Oh! Sorry.
But as you run your hand across it,
Secret passage, secret passage, secret passage. Please be secret passage.
there's just this one point where your hand just naturally rests and you push just ever so slightly. You can feel resistance, but you know that if you expend grid energy, something will happen.
The castle explodes.
It will cost you personal power to do so.
Mm-hmm.
You happy to do?
I'd probably... So I would be more tempted to approach the throne first.
Okay.
But if you would prefer, I mean,
No, your choice.
But I don't mind
Entirely your
inspecting
choice.
Trey's passage first.
Heyo.
Do you sit on the throne?
No, I would, because Her Royal Hiney is currently sat on it already.
She sat on the other throne, just as a matter of correction.
Yes. She sat on the comfy throne, not
She
the
sat on the comfy
show
of the
throne.
two thrones, yes.
Okay. Then I will ask her permission to approach the throne.
Yes, it's just a chair at the end of the day, Sonny. More expensive than some. Very uncomfortable, if I'm honest with you.
He'll flash her a look as if to say, I'm not sure I quite believe that, but not say anything, and then approach and place his hand on it first.
For a second, you hear voices. Dozens of voices.
Are these the
Like
voices
they're
I usually
whispering.
hear?
No.
Or
They're not the voices that you usually hear, no. A mixture of men and women. Make me an alertness perception check. It is auditory based if you have anything that will improve that. I will give you the edge still.
Oh dear, that's just an 8.
Okay. Yeah, you hear dozens of voices. You can't distinguish enough between the different voices to tell like anyone's in particular. No, Jay can't use dance.
I already have edge, but thanks. Is this dance or martial arts related? Yeah. Are they trying to talk to me through interpretive dance?
No, but they do appear to be trying to give you advice.
Okay. In which case, I imagine that as I put my hand on it and I get all of these voices that I can't distinguish, I pull away.
It stops immediately.
Think about it. And then I just sit down and just plunge myself into it.
It becomes more overbearing as you sit down on the throne, as you're like completely in contact with it.
Yeah, I just grit my teeth and bear down.
Make me another alertness perception check. You still have
You
edge.
look constipated.
Sorry, Matt. Another alertness perception check.
You do still have edge. And Sarah wants to know if, or Michael, I'm not sure if it was a Michael question or a Sarah question, but they want to know
if I fumble, I'm just trumping, you know.
He's just like got constipation face now. I'm like, what are you doing?
Critical 17.
Critical 17. it takes several minutes. Your face is kind of blank as the voices are all trying to talk to you at once, as you're trying to distinguish between the different individuals within that mess. But you slowly begin to work out what they're saying, the advice they're giving. For the most part, it seems to be advice on ruling, on leadership, on how to rule a planet, how to give, how to. Sorry, my brain's doing
Win
a thing.
friends and influence people.
How to win friends and influence people. How to adjudicate problems. How to just to rule fairly.
Well, you should have thought that before you became poor.
But you just work out one voice in particular, and it's the Queen Mother's. She's younger, more full of life and energy, and she's talking about sacrifice and about sacrificing for everything for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that she's got to give, and that's what it's about to be the Gold Ranger. And you realize that the words aren't for you necessarily, for Q. They're just for a Gold Ranger, whichever Gold Ranger sits on the throne. Whilst this has been happening, Sarah, you've had your glass of wine. You've managed to get into the console quite easily. It's different. The layout's different. It's a completely different operating system to what you've been used to. Some of how to move about and navigate it has taken some finagling and working out, but you do have some help. One of the lesson ability is kind of slowly idled over towards you. A young man who seems to be trying to win some points. He introduces himself as Ronaldo. Ronaldo would like to help you if you'd like some help.
Great. Do you often refer to yourself in the third person?
Ronaldo always introduces himself like this. Ronaldo always speaks to everybody as if Ronaldo was in 3.
Great.
It takes a little bit of poking and prodding, mostly because Ronaldo keeps leaning, like always kind of like trying to lean over your other shoulder from whichever side he's on. Like, you know, the sort of like subtle little, almost trying to pull you in for a hug.
Is he flirting?
100%, really badly, but 100%. He whispers so that you have to lean in, or he has to lean in just a bit too close. He's terrible, but he's trying. When you get into the computer properly, you find like diary entries from Trey and other kings, queens, gold rangers going back generations. You see that previously some of them were handwritten that have been digitized. You see like battle plans. You see after action reports. Nothing that would necessarily give you an idea as to what the Psycho Rangers are after.
What was the specific mission that Trey went on when he disappeared?
Make me either a technology or alertness check.
Alertness.
Yeah, I figured, but I gave you the option.
Be nice.
Would this be insight?
No.
Okay.
Perception if you've got it. Diary. Mood. Apathetic.
I'm an emo kid.
Wow. Terrible. Okay. Hold on. See if I can fix this a little bit at least. I mean, that may. Nope. Why I'm trying so hard. All right, yeah. Yep, 10.
Okay, that's fine because 10 was the difficulty. So it took a lot of re-rolling of things, but we got there. Okay, so
I was trying to see if I can make it a crit. But...
Pete, you're also finding this out at the same time that Sarah is. You've managed to break into the computer downstairs. You're finding this information out at the same time that Sarah is. You find entries about Trey essentially went hiking. Camping's a very popular sport, not sport, but pastime. Hiking, camping, outdoorsy pursuits. Found a crystal on Triforia. When he touched it, he saw visions of other crystals on other planets. Some of them darkened, some of them full of life. And the vision he saw was that these crystals essentially were the life source of the planets that they were on. And the ones that were darkened were darkened because Dark Spectre or Dark Spectre's forces had destroyed them, had destroyed the planets as a result. He had a vision that one such crystal was in danger. I think we might have lost other Michael. No, there he is. And was heading to said planet to check it out. Sorry. He headed to the planet. There's no name for the planet. It just has galactic coordinates.
I run the galactic coordinates through like the morpher or something?
Not through the morpher. What I would need is either I'd need a science astronavigation check, or if you were back on the ship, I would need a technology astronavigation check, as if you were making plotting the direction, plotting a course.
Can I plug Baby Dragon into the console and let him do it?
You wouldn't need to plug him into the console. He can just look at the numbers and go.
I just pull out an aux cable.
He doesn't have appropriate
Game Boy Link cable.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to call Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Pete, I've got some coordinates. I'm going to funnel them back to the ship to see if they can't lock them down. But
yeah,
I'm opinion.
I'm looking at the same thing now. It would seem I rolled a 20.
Deferoth.
I'm looking at these coordinates. The Triforian Gold Ranger is on Earth.
He went to Earth at the very least.
He just came from there.
Or at least, that's where he was going when he went missing.
Hold on. And this was 15, 20 years ago, right?
25 to 30 years ago.
25. But that's before. It's before Rita and the original team. Do we know about and did Grace's team happen for our timeline? Okay.
Nope. But Psycho Green did head towards said planet and was stopped on the moon.
Oh, right.
Did the Gold Ranger stop them? That's kind of badass. Um,
Trey must have intercepted Green.
yeah, and stopped him on the moon, and then came to Earth. Is that how the Psycho Dagger ended up on Earth?
But what happened to Trey? Why didn't he come home? If he
And
if
if
he
he's been on
stopped
Earth,
if he stopped Psycho Green on the moon and then went to Earth to hide the dagger, that would mean he's still alive.
and why didn't he help at all during Rhea's original attack or during any of the time that we've been fighting?
What if he lost his link?
Is there
What if he couldn't get
I,
home because he
but
didn't have power?
as far as we're aware, the only thing that could do that I made.
I mean, the fight with Green, like taking on
I mean,
that guy
yeah, he
one
is a
on
beast.
one, he may have expended his
Is there a
connection to the
limit
grid
to
somehow.
questions for later? I'm going to need to look into that. Is there a like finite amount of power we can use before we're no longer rangers?
Or just trying to tap into too much at once.
I mean, that would make sense fighting Psycho Green.
It's just, I
Uh,
mean, it's just like when you overload a technology thing and it blows up and doesn't work anymore. I don't know. I'm saying words.
why do I feel like that was a dig? Was that a dig?
It wasn't. I was trying to think of the right words to say and I don't know them.
No, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Okay, so I
Michael,
will
who plays
get
Peter, make me an alertness insight check, please.
dun dun dun.
Am I assisting? Am I able
Nope.
to? Okay.
Meanwhile, Q is just sat in the background on the throne with his eyes glowing gold.
Critical 15?
You feel a. Sorry. That sense of needing to hit the lab, hit the, get that technological, just work
Shindigs
on
going on.
something, yeah, is gone, or at least pushed to the side. You can still feel it, like somebody chomping at the bit, somebody kind of like pounding at a wall that isn't really there. But what you've got instead, what you can feel, is this sense of needing to push everything down and not show all of the feelings that you're currently going through, all of the things that, the losing Q's red power, potentially losing the entire red spectrum from your team forever, maybe losing the green spectrum from your team forever. What Billy said to you about jumping before you look, just all of that, just burying it deep and just not letting anybody know how much it hurts, enduring it without showing anybody.
With that, you're talking over comms, you'll notice like a decided like what's the word I'm trying to
A
say?
deadpan.
Disembodied?
No, like a decisive change in the way Pete sounds. It's very much like more monotone and like
Oh, well, in that case, insight check.
Go for it. Whilst you're rolling dice, we're gonna flip back over to Q on the throne,
We're
whose
gonna flop
eyes
onto Q.
are. Yep, we're gonna flop onto Q, whose eyes
Is he
are
doing his
glowing
best Doctor
gold.
Strange as well?
Sitting on the throne. Q.
Mhm.
You've heard all of these pearls of wisdom that the Gold Rangers of past have to pass on to you and other Gold Rangers who sit upon the throne. What do you want to do?
Let's try to add one of my own.
Go for it.
Don't know how, but I'll just think very hard about going from just being me to having like the power and the aggression of the red spectrum, to then not having power, to then gaining the power of the gold spectrum. And I'll add that it's never about the quantity of power you have or the power that you have the potential to amass, but it's about what you choose to do with the power that you possess during any moment that matters.
The voices for a moment just completely pause. They stop. And in your head, you feel this sense of welcome, as if somebody's opened a door and let you in. And then you hear them once again, not in a rush, but like time's paused. Like 1 second draws out forever. And you hear them one by one in the most calm way you have since sitting there. And you see each face, each ranger telling their pearl of wisdom, one after the other. And then you see rangers you don't recognize, men, women, each of them having gone through something that they then felt the need to pass on to the next. You see the Queen Mother, younger. You see Trey. And then you see yourself. And you know that the next Gold Ranger to sit on that throne will have that passed on to them. And then when you open your eyes, you see Sarah talking to Pete.
I just need to type something to you in chat and I don't want to say it out loud.
Okay.
Also, yes, Matt, check the Zoom chat thing and to a previous question of mine.
No, you would not, because we're talking about like 25 to 30 years ago.
Yeah, exactly what James just asked.
No, for that same reason. I would say yes to a degree, probably more so because of having seen like a three-dimensional representation as opposed to just a painting.
Artistic
Yeah.
interpretation. Right.
Yeah, the artistic interpretation.
I was distracted as well, so I can understand.
Can I now say that out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So from watching all of these 3D Force Ghost heads,
Grid ghosts.
Grid Ghost. Yeah, my brain was going, what's the word? What's the thing that you... I'm sure we've mentioned it before. As these Grid Ghosts appear to wisdom dump on me. And Trey appears, and I'm just like, looks like Pete.
Mr. Parker?
In a bit. And then it becomes me. And then I wake back up and stand back up feeling...
You feel
Golden.
for a moment the Queen Mother's hands on your hands, even through like the glove and everything. Just give it a kind of reassuring squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very weird sensation, isn't it? Passing on a lifetime of wisdom in a sentence or two.
It's not what I expected when I came here.
No, it very rarely is.
But thank you. Would I be able to and this is going to sound so wrong, infuse her with a point of my personal power.
You're gonna give her a shot of your PP, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to give her to zest her up for what's to come over the next couple of days, like with her aching bones and her throbbing balls of her feet.
Make me an alertness insight check.
Is this still with Edge? Is a Goldie?
Yes.
Yeah. My golden PP Edge.
Wait,
That's,
hold on. She's a golden girl.
she's played by Betty White.
That wasn't intentional, but yes and yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
I agree with this 100%.
22.
You get the very distinct impression that she is playing up the frail old woman part. She is old. She is old. There's no denying that. But you're fairly certain that she could still throw down in a fight. It might be her last fight, but she could still throw down in a fight.
She's totally going to Master Yoda that shit.
Yeah. She could still throw down in a fight. Yeah. Give her a sword from the armory and she's leading the charge.
No, her cane becomes like nunchucks or something.
She draws a blade out of it. Like she just draws it and it's a handle with an energy sword. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
This is how we discover gunchucks.
Oh man, Cal would be so angry.
Her and I are the
Episode
Golden
title sorted. Golden
Blades,
Girls.
I now want to fight with her, like not with her.
No, it's
but
thanks for being
alongside
a
her.
friend.
We'll make it happen. We'll make
She's
it
like
happen.
the Bodicea of Triforia.
We'll throw a contact together for Golden Girl, Queen Mother. Yeah.
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 She literally has to fight like Yoda, though. Like,
Okay.
she
I
drops
got a
the
crit
stick.
21 on Pete.
Critical 21 on Pete. Pete, if that beats your willpower or cleverness, which I'm pretty certain it will.
Oh, it 100% does.
Yeah.
If you added them together, it probably still beats them.
Yeah. No, probably not. You get the very distinct impression that whilst you're still talking to Pete, you're only talking to a part of Pete. Like a facet of his personality has shut out other facets of his personality.
And with that, Pete will continue speaking to Sarah over comms. And so we need to. Have you relayed this information to Q?
Q's currently on the throne being constipated, but when he comes back to Earth, metaphorically, yeah.
We need to move fast and get this place secured, get everyone out. And we need to get these psychos here now.
Are you okay?
Yeah. But if what we just saw is any indication of what they're looking for here, then we seriously need to fortify this place a lot more than we anticipated. The whole planet depends on it. And at that, he'll cut off comms and carry on trying to dig through the system, A, to find components he needs, and B, to try and dig up more information on Trey. There'll be a moment as well where Baby Dragon is like trying to step in and help, and Pete will snap at Baby Dragon. Just like, move, damn it.
He hung up on me and he won't answer.
Do I need to make any more rolls to dig deeper?
Not right this moment.
I'm gonna turn around, be like, your best friend hung up on me. He won't answer, and he's absolutely not okay.
Sarah pulls out her gun and starts heading to the lab.
Sarah pulls out a gun, yeah. So Q finishes like nice moment with Betty White, ironically the Gold Ranger, and looked at Sarah and just said, "So teleport to him and give him a slap."
I think we figured out why the psychos are coming. The Zeo crystal.
Ah,
Zeo crystal?
Hugh will hold out his hand and pull up a hollow image of a Zeo crystal from.
So most planets, every planet, we're not completely sure, has a crystal like this. And Dark Spectre wants to eat them or something. I don't really know for
Can't see
sure.
if I'm actually sat like this as if I have just pulled it.
But yeah, wait, that's most likely why they're coming here. And Trey went to Earth. The timeline matches up for when Psycho Green was stopped on the moon, when the dagger was hidden away on Earth. So current theory is Trey is somewhere on Earth. Don't know why he hasn't come back, but he's most likely alive on Earth somewhere.
What timeline?
That when he went to Earth when and
When
fought
he left here.
left here for Earth to stop Psycho Green because he had a vision of Green trying to take Earth's crystal.
Does Q need to make an insight check to put two and two together?
Make a maths check.
Oh, what does that come under?
That was no. That was basically no. You don't.
It's under auto fail.
But
Okay, I was going to say, and can I use dance or martial arts? Sarah just sees Q's face go, oh.
Oh,
Um, Q will page Pete.
the
Pete
number
does
he's trying
not
to reach
see it right
is
now.
connected.
Oh,
What, Q? You have figured it out, face. What you got?
yeah, you go and check on Pete. I still have something to do up here.
Okay, but what did you just connect? There's a dot.
It's probably just a coincidence, but please just go and make sure that Pete's okay. He should never be left unattended or
Supervised?
unsupervised in a lab.
Yeah.
You know what his eyebrows are like.
Hey,
Yeah,
I do
that's
some
true.
of my best work, like alone in the lab.
Great, sure. And I'll
Oh,
teleport to.
Sarah,
Yeah,
or have you already gone?
no, I'm about to I'm hitting the buttons. Like what?
Um, Contact Billy. Tell him we're going to need everything that we can to defend Triforia from the psychos.
Right.
He'll
So
know what it means.
yeah, I'll shoot Billy a text real quick, and then I'll
Nice.
finish the teleport.
You teleport to the lab, and you teleport into a very clean space. Bearing in mind it hasn't been used in such a long time, it's clearly still being cleaned regularly. Things have been put away. There's equipment left tidily on spaces. There's computers on a triangular desk. More importantly, there are three individuals in the room. One of them is morphed in their white armor. The other two aren't, but they're wearing t-shirt, jeans, trainers, and they're standing in a triangle, pointing at each other.
Spider-Man meme.
They all look like Pete, though slightly off. One of them looks just a tad too serious, the other just a little bit too much like he's joking. He's got this cocky grin on his face.
He is goofball.
Q, I'm scared. There's 3 Pete's. Repeat. 3 Pete.
Yeah, don't,
Sorry.
yeah, okay. Don't freak out. The thing that I think I had worked out was that,
Peter's Triforian somehow?
yes, that.
Okay.
Good luck. Bye.
You son of a bitch. Peter, what the hell's going on?
And at that point, all 3 of them turn around and just go, I don't know. But one's like normal Pete, like nerdy kind of, I don't know. Like the other, like one of them is just like super goofy in the way that he says it, like flamboyantly excited about
Ooh.
everything. And one's very like stern and stoic about it. But all of them give the same response, just in the different tone. And then all look at each other again, just like, and I'm still in the one, just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that. Okay. So,
This is quite fascinating. It would appear we have become 3 individuals. Um, I believe I need to run some tests, and that will be Peter 1, which is normal Peter in his morph suit. Um, Peter 2 is our goofy Peter. Um, I don't know if Matt's going to put images up because I don't know if he sorted them out. So, because we commit to the bit for the shits and giggles, Peter 2.
Little bits from school are we filtered from the girlish glee. 3 little bits from school.
Peter 2 is the goofball personality of the 3, and he looks like a Mr. Andrew Garfield. And then we have the stoic.
oh my God, you're not even identical twins.
And then, well, he doesn't necessarily, like Matt just said, he like the others look slightly off. They're Pete, but slightly off. So to everyone, like in game, they may just look like Pete, but like slightly different. But for viewing purposes, one looks like Andrew Garfield, which is the goofball, and then the stoic, more stern version of Pete looks like Tobey Maguire. If no one else saw that coming. Um, at that point, when Peter 1 is talking about going to need to do tests and things, he's talking to Sarah as he's saying this, like, and you just see that Peter 2, Andrew Pete, is now sat on a wheelie chair. And he is just being pushed along by Baby Dragon, just like, sod it, this is great. And Stoic Pete is standing there shaking his head at Stupid Pete.
Stoic Pete knows what it's like to be Q.
hmm in fact, Stoic Pete will even say out loud, and now I know what it's like to be cute. Thank you, Jay.
Uh-huh. Right. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. Good. Good. This is normal. This is fine.
And Peter 1 is going to start using equipment in the lab to run some tests on myself. Me, myself, and I? Me, myself, and I, yes. Um, to see what the crap is going on and why I am now 3 people. And then also, Peter 2 and 3 are going to attempt to morph.
Were you adopted?
Um, wait. And can I make an insight or alertness check or something? Does Peter now clock everything that we just learned? And then,
If he doesn't, Peter's slower than I thought he was.
oh, cool. I don't need to roll for this then, no?
No.
Um,
Can I set something?
wait a minute. Sarah, could we deduce something from this that we've just learned on these computers? Is Trey of Triforia my dad?
Why wouldn't Q just say that? Why is
Wait, Q knew?
I think maybe. I mean, Q knows your dad, and he was, I don't know. He definitely knew something. And when I said that you had did this just happened, he was like, oh, okay. Obviously not meant to say and everything. Mm, That sent me here to slap you. I'm gonna slap him.
I must run so many tests. Dragon, where are you? As you see, Baby Dragon in the background, just still pushing
I'm
Andrew
still
forward.
confused why he didn't ever come back.
I mean, one would assume he met my mother and settled down. But then
But
it still doesn't explain why he never helped us. And does he know that
he,
did he know before I let him know? Questions for later.
I mean, what little reading I've done on Trey of Triforia, which is actually quite a bit, uh, the only way he wouldn't have stepped up to help is if he couldn't.
Right. No, knowing my dad as well, there's no way he wouldn't have helped.
Like
Like he's babied me since I can remember.
he had to have somehow lost his powers.
Wait. Can do I realize anything else?
You're a wizard, Harry.
Everybody make me alert as perception checks.
Also, what happened when the other two attempted to morph?
Even though I'm not in the room,
Everybody make me alert as perception checks.
am I still edged?
No.
19?
Oh,
Are we going to do the results after the ads?
We will
vertical
do the
30.
results after the ads. Yes.
The Burly Trinity. Love it.
I'm going to get rid of the pictures in a moment as well. I did want to put them up. In fact, I'll get rid of the pictures now.
Throw the arch in the Discord. Not watching the stream.
Yeah.
Next to each other, Toby's head is so big.
So, these alertness perception checks. So, we've got a critical 30 for Sarah,
19 for Peter.
19 for Peter, and for Q,
14.
14. With all of the information at hand, it's like a world of dominoes has just come tumbling down. And things that you'd kind of half seen and heard that you push to the back of your mind really come to the top. And you find yourself suddenly remembering this one time you were just minding your own business at the juice bar. You hadn't seen Bert for a little while. He'd been on holiday. He came back and he was adamant, speaking to Ernie, that he'd seen another version of themselves. Adamant that they had a triplet. Ernie was so clear to Bert that that wasn't the case. There was two of them. There'd always only been two of them. But looking back,
Bert and
seeing
Ernie are my
Trey,
uncles.
seeing
Fathers.
Ernie, you're your dad.
Your
you
dad is
see the
Bert and
similarities all
Ernie.
of a sudden. And you
Okay.
realise that whilst Bert is it just
They forgot your dad. Your dad, not your sort of dads.
At that point, it will be where Stoic Peter 3, will step into this conversation as well. Like, does that mean if we stay apart, that
It may have been
two
it
of
might
us
have
will
been
forget the others?
an injury from the fight, resulting in some sort of amnesia.
I
Are
think
are you able to, are all three of you able to morph?
you tell straight away as soon as you ask the question that only one of them is morphed and the other two don't have morphers, they don't have the coin. There is only
and
one morpher.
Does your dad know he's Trey? If they forgot him, he has the morpher. He doesn't know who he. I don't. You need to
But
phone home, ET.
but we remember who we are.
But
Other,
you didn't just get into a knockdown drag out with the Psycho Ranger.
I mean, we've had our run-ins with the Psycho Green Ranger before, and it never caused us to split or anything. Me and Toby Pete will look at Tom Pete. Um,
I think this
and,
happened because
and
you're here.
as he points and looks over to like normal Pete and says me, Peter will pipe up and be like, Peter one. To which Andrew Pete will be like, how comes you get to be number one? To which Tom Pete will be like, morphed. Um, okay, Peter one, Peter two, Peter three. We settled on that. Okay. And he just spins past on the wheelie chair again. um, um, can you figure out why we have split?
I think it's because you came home. You're here. Something about being here
Yeah, I mean,
triggered you.
in theory, potentially, yeah.
It's the only
But
like because
but
it's
then
not
why
it's not it's not a stress trigger because our lives are
we tray
constant
split
threat.
then?
Well,
There must be a
Triforians can split just because like that's just who they are. You you didn't know any better, so you never had cause to think that you could do this. So why would you do this? Till something here, something in the air. I don't know. Maybe it's the pollen. Oh fuck, But
I think you could potentially be right, Sarah. Um, I think for now we need to finish our fortification of the planet as best we can in preparation for the psychos to turn up. But also, if it's
yeah,
a
I put
case
out
that
a.
we could potentially lose our memories, we need to figure out how to put us back together as soon as
I was
possible.
that was my next question. Can you put yourself back together?
At this point, Andrew Peter would like come running up from behind and just like run full speed into Toby Peter. Like try and like smack themselves back together.
Make me either an athletics
I'm
brawn.
assuming I'm rolling these off the same sheet.
Yeah, athletics or brawn check.
Maybe a three-way high five. I don't know.
I'm gonna. Oh no, wait, I don't know if I can do that. Never mind. Oh, I didn't bother trying. Uh, 9.
He runs in, smack, and just bounces off and hits the floor.
Heavy Peter just turns around like, "What are you doing? Can you sort yourself out? We need to be serious in this situation. We can't be messing around like children." To which Peter One will then go, "Damn. Okay, now I think I know what it's like to be Q."
Meanwhile, in the throne room, Q.
Will, having finished lovely moment with Senorita Golden Girl, I would just say,
She's my grandmother.
all those birthday presents and Christmas presents that she owes you.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I might
I
be
love
richer
the
than I
fact
thought.
that his go-to is that she's my grandmother, not that's my throne.
I was literally just about to say, wait, I'm a king.
This world is doomed.
Mm. Um, doomed.
Nobody on this planet will have eyebrows ever again.
Q will say, I need to go and see what's behind the passage. What's behind that secret wall?
The secret. How did you find the? Yes, being a Gold Ranger in this castle is very troublesome at times. It just reveals secrets to you all over the place.
I used to have an ex like that. And so Q will sidle over to said wall, put his hand on it, use his PP, and
Put your
She
PP in the wall.
walks. She
He's putting
walks
his
over
PP
to
in
join
his
you
passage.
and sort of like stretches up on her tippy toes to try and look over your shoulder, which is not successful because she is.
she's trying to
not
look
a very
over
tall
my
woman.
shoulder at my PP.
Yes, or at the wall, to see what is, as it opens.
No, definitely his PP.
Yeah. It as you touch it and infuse the wall with energy, gold
touch my-
lines just stretch out, and
Yeah.
where they stretch out into a pattern, the wall just disappears.
A golden PP stretches.
Yep.
You leave
Been
my
a
golden
lot.
PP stretch marks out of this.
You see a space that couldn't possibly exist in terms of there is a window like 4 steps to the right. This space has to be extra dimensional.
Hmm.
And inside of it, you see it's like a comfortable sitting room. There's a old chair, sofa, other bits of furniture that looks like it needs replacing, but was left because somebody liked it. It was comfortable. It was nice to sit in. But more importantly, in the middle of the room is a Zeo crystal.
Oh!
And that right there is where we're going to end the episode. Because cliffhangers are the best kind of hangers.
That means I've got to write down this pun so I don't forget it.
Oh no, go on. Say the pun. Say the pun.
No.
Okay. Write down the pun then. Don't forget it. I want to know it. Favorite moment for yourself, favorite moment for another player. Michael, who plays Peter, and Peter.
I am Peters. See, you see what I did at the beginning of the episode? You see what I did there?
You are Peter.
My favorite moment for me was just obviously the what the fuck pointy meme goodness, because commit to the bit. For someone else, I very much enjoy. See, I'm sorry, I do this every episode. I can never choose. I very much enjoyed Q on the Throne. Like
on the
put like receiving the messages from like the past Gold Rangers and also sending them. But then another choice is I really like the fact that Sarah was just instantly like something's not right there.
Inside check.
But also 3Pete. Fantastic.
Please repeat that.
It's like, Q. Q.
Scared.
Yeah. Michael, who plays Sarah.
I mean, that's my moment. That's my moment. I'm cute. I'm scared.
I liked it.
And yeah, there's some good stuff, but I gotta give it to Silly Pete because that's just gonna be a running gag.
Yep. Yeah,
Literally.
Peter 2
Yeah.
is literally the gag.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Jay, who plays Q.
For someone else, it was probably the moment that Sarah called for backup from Q, who was just like, yeah, no, thanks, bye.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought would happen. Bye.
Yeah, have fun with that. He's your child today.
I deal with him on Mondays through Wednesdays.
You have him at weekends. That was the agreement.
And for the last 2 days of the week, he just has to fend for himself.
And his own eyebrows. For Q, it was the tuning into the gold spectrum in the throne room incredibly successfully and exposing all of its secrets and discovering Betty White.
We do need a picture now, Michael. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
appreciate
fuck.
I know.
Betty
I
White is the
know.
Golden Ranger.
I
Although-
appreciate, you know.
Although I can now tell everyone that Betty White is my nan. So
And who's your dad?
Triforia. Oh wait, yeah. Who did we say my dad looked like?
Ernie.
Oh, we did. Did we say he looked like Ernie?
So your dad is technically Bernie, because didn't we say they were Ernie and Bernie?
I remember, but if you don't, I find this very funny.
I mean, it's been a while.
It has been a while, and
That
would be sad.
I can't remember. Tell me, Matthew. Tell me. I must
It's
know.
pretty much who you always go for.
Matt, it's been a very long day. Stop with the riddles and tell
It's
me.
Mr. Reynolds,
Oh, Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
which makes the
Which is also Kyle.
Yeah, no, Ryan Reynolds is Kyle.
I thought you
But-
also went for Ryan Reynolds for Ben earlier on in. Oh, I might be wrong. I apologise.
Guys, if anyone remembers at home who's watching,
Yeah.
I can't
Go
remember.
back to episode 1.
Oh, that's your homework now, Michael. You have to watch and find it. I thought it was Mr. Reynolds, but now
You've
I'm not
just
sure.
given me homework. I need to draw fucking Betty White.
Whilst watching to find
Your
out who your dad
gran.
looks like. Yeah, she's your grandmother. But she needs some golden shenanigans to her outfit
Big flamboyant earrings.
and golden hair. Okay.
Okay.
On that note, thank you everybody for watching. Yeah, technically more Power Rangers than we normally have.
Mm.
I did say we'd become a 5-pointed star.
Shit, that's not more Power Rangers than we normally have. That's the same amount of Power Rangers as we normally have.
It is the same amount.
Unless
of
you count
Rangers as
Betty
we normally have.
White.
Yeah.
Betty White, we're counting Betty White. We're counting Betty White. She is a Power Ranger. She is the best Power Ranger.
Unless you count those times, like, you know, that we teamed up with like
Shush.
Rescue or we were
Michael,
with the,
shut up. We're kicking you out. We'll keep the other Peters. We like them more.
Yeah,
on that note, bye everybody. Thanks for watching. We love you all.
And may the power protect your penis.
And we'll be back next Saturday, the 8th of February. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Instead of the Thursday, and we should be Saturdays from then onwards. Yeah. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Lost my mouse.